People are starting to get very concerned about this. Take a look here. A Russian politician says that Putin's only option to beat Ukraine is now nuclear weapons. Saying here, a former Russian deputy prime minister said in a video posted this week that the use of tactical nuclear weapons is the only way for Russian President Vladimir Putin's forces to defeat the expected Ukraine's counter-offensive that Ukraine is now expected to launch. It's the only way. Yeah, Dmitry Rogozin, who served as the Director General for Russia's space program following his stint as Deputy Prime Minister, made the comments in a video that was posted on a pro-Kremlin Telegram account. Speculation has been building in recent weeks about when Ukraine will launch their much anticipated counteroffensive against Putin's military. Ukraine's President Zelensky confirmed during a press conference in Helsinki that his forces will soon conduct a counteroffensive. This Zelensky's remarks followed a statement posted online earlier in the day from the leader of the Wagner Group, Yevgeny Prigozhin, from the Wagner Russian mercenary groups, in which he said he believes the initial stages of Ukraine's counteroffensives have already began, and that he added in the active coming days that the military counteroffensive would come.
Вот. Но в целом надо сказать, что в соответствии с нашей доктриной мы имеем полное право на применение тактического ядерного оружия, потому что как раз оно для этого и существует, этот великий уравнитель, для того момента, когда явное будет несоответствие в силах и средствах обычных вооружений в пользу противника. Поэтому наилучшим методом для того, чтобы разрушить его наступление, применить ТЯО с понятными, конечно, последствиями, но другого варианта, мне кажется, на сегодняшний момент и нет.
So you heard him. He doesn't think there's any other options but to use tactical nuclear weapons there. Those are smaller nuclear weapons that they could use on the battlefield. And, well, we haven't really seen Russia really move forward here with any progress in quite some time. And there is a lot of thought here, especially with the apparent assassination attempt on Putin at the Kremlin. We're not sure if Russia did it, if Ukraine did it, if it was a false flag event, that Russia may use this as fuel to actually go forward and start using these smaller type of nuclear bombs as an excuse to actually start using them. This would be a major step in the wrong direction for mankind if they do this. And also it could be an escalation towards World War III if this actually happens, because if this happens, does NATO step in? Does the US step in? Does this ultimately lead to World War III? You guys can let me know your thoughts on this. But remember, there is absolutely no winners in a nuclear war, in nuclear bombs being used. And remember, the nuclear fallout is the absolute worst thing that we can even contemplate here. If we start seeing nuclear warheads shot back and forth, it's not going to be a good thing at all. Meanwhile, Russia is holding their Victory Day military parade here today, as they also target Ukraine's capital city of Kyiv here today with more missile strikes. And it's just getting absolutely brutal here. And remember that a lot of what is being targeted here in Kyiv is not military targets. We just see the absolute every single day barrage on apartment buildings and civilian complexes. Here are the two leaders of the House Intelligence Committee one Republican, one Democrat, to give us some more insight. And also, what will happen here if the country defaults. And we have House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and President Biden, they're meeting here. We'll have to see if they can actually come to an agreement going forward. Take a listen to what they have to say here.
Chairman Turner, on the matter of Russia, obviously this last week, the Kremlin has been accusing both the United States and Ukraine of directing alleged drone attacks on the Kremlin in an attempt to assassinate Putin. The White House said it doesn't know who's behind the attack, called the accusations of American involvement ridiculous. Ukraine denies it as well. Who do you think is behind that alleged drone attack on the Kremlin?
Well, the claims are clearly ludicrous, and also I believe that they're an attempt to distract everyone in Russia from the fact that Vladimir Putin is losing horribly in Ukraine, and he needs to withdraw. He needs to allow Ukraine to restore their territorial borders and the integrity of their country. I do think, as we met with each of the leaders of these three countries, that they do see what Russia has done in Ukraine as diminishing Russia overall as both a power or an influencer around the world. They see them now with this brutal campaign in Ukraine, and the fact that they've not been successful as impacting Russia's overall reputation.
So the Treasury Department, Congressman Himes, the Treasury Department says the U.S. could default as early as June 1st if Congress doesn't raise the debt ceiling. And the Director of National Intelligence, Avril Haines, told the Senate that Russia and China would try to exploit the chaos that would come from a U.S. default to show, quote, we're not capable of functioning as a democracy. Is this a national security threat, this looming debt crisis? And have any world leaders expressed concern to you about it, Congressman Himes?
So it has not come up in the meetings that we had in Jordan and in Israel and Egypt, but of course the Russians and the Chinese would seek to exploit it. You know, the United States has never really come close to defaulting on its debt before, so it's hard for us to imagine what that might look like. But of course it could be catastrophic. Frankly, the full faith and credit of the United States is the bedrock on which the global financial system is built. And if that comes into question, all kinds of things could happen. Look, the U.S. dollar could its position as the global reserve currency could be eroded. People may choose to invest in the United Kingdom or in the European Union rather than the United States. So I'm not sure that either the chairman nor I know what the solution looks like in the coming weeks, but there had better be a solution.
Chairman Turner, do you think House Republicans would be willing to consider a temporary extension on the debt ceiling so that President Biden and Speaker McCarthy have more time to try to hammer out some sort of a deal?
Well, as Speaker McCarthy said, the House has done its job. We voted to raise the debt limit. The president is doing this, unrealistic position where he's saying that spending has nothing to do with debt. Well, of course, you don't get debt unless you're spending more than you're bringing in. The president needs to come to the table, negotiate with the speaker, and come up with a plan that the American public want. Overwhelmingly, the polls show the American public want Washington to rein in spending. The president needs to make some concessions.
Do you agree with your colleague there, Congressman Himes, that it's a national security threat, not solving this problem?
I think if the president fails to negotiate with Congress and has continued out-of-control spending that threatens our economy, that it is a national security threat. He has the ability to sit down and do that, and for us to come to a deal and an agreement. That's what the American public want. That's what I think they're going to require from Congress and the president, and I think he needs to get on with it.
The chairman and the ranking Democrat on the House Select Committee on Intelligence, Congressman Mike Turner of Ohio and Congressman Jim Himes of Connecticut, thanks so much for doing this interview. We appreciate it.
You could almost say that some damage has already been done to us around the other, countries around the world, wondering if we're going to pay our debts already by not raising the debt limit. And, how close we are already. This is a problem. They need to raise the debt limit. We shouldn't be this close. We're really the only country in the world that really has a debt limit like this. And remember that the vast majority of spending has to be approved by Congress anyways. And then there's this debt limit over and above it, which is really kind of it's really kind of a political firewall, barbed wire, extraordinary thing that every year now kind of puts us at risk as a country in addition to this stuff. which is kind of unnecessary at this point. You know, it's been raised like 78 times or something like this here in the last 100 years or something like this. One of these times, Congress isn't going to get the job done. We're going to default, and it's going to be a massive problem for our country, having us default, be the laughing stock of the world. And you can let me know your thoughts here on this, but this is not a good thing. And when we default and our stock market collapses, our economy collapses, our dollar collapses, and we're not able to pay our bills, and payments of everything that comes out of the government is delayed or worse, then people are going to be like, yeah, well, maybe we should have did something about it before that happened. You can let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. So if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe, click the bell icon so you don't miss out on any new videos here on our YouTube channel that come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for liking and sharing these videos, and here's some videos you should watch next. President Biden may have to invoke the 14th Amendment over the debt ceiling. You can see that in this video. Or the government just released an urgent message for millions of Americans. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.